Hey, hi everybody. Good morning. It's good to be with you today. We're talking about the Beatitudes. We find them in Matthew 5, and we're on verse 5 at the moment, which is the third in line in the beautiful Beatitudes. It says this: "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Let's talk about meekness for a couple of days. Meekness, you've all heard of the cliche that says meekness is not weakness. Weakness is portrayed as like when you watch a movie and watch Robin Hood and you see Friar Tuck. Why is it that the world portrays Christians like Friar Tuck? Here he is, a compromising, harmless individual, and he drinks too much, and he's an embarrassment to the church. But the world sort of has this view of Christians being kind of like him. And that's not an accurate perception that they could possibly have or develop of what a real believer is. Meekness is a unique thing. There is no other attitude or beatitude that goes so much in the face of the world around us today as this one. There's no place in this world for meek people. This world is made for people. It's dog eat dog, and it's trample on the guy underneath you, and only the strong survive, and that's the kind of world that we kind of live in. But I need to say, it's always been like that. This is nothing new. The world has always been a dog eat dog world, and into this very miserable, world, Jesus came, the most meek human being who ever existed. And the world did not understand him. You see, they were looking for a Messiah who would be the opposite. They were looking for a Messiah who would be strong and arrogant and tough and beat up the enemy and kick them all out of the place. And instead, they got a Savior who was gentle, a Savior who was meek, but certainly not weak. So I hope you see that in the course of this next couple of days as we study what real meekness looks like. I wondered if it wouldn't be good for us just to look at this from maybe an interesting angle. You see, every one of these Beatitudes has a number of statements that epitomize the essence of the Beatitude. Well, I've chosen a few of them for this coming week. And the first one that I want to deal with today is an attitude. It's the cry of the meek that we find in Genesis chapter 13. And it's basically the cry of Abraham to Lot. Abraham, great man, strong man, good businessman, a man who was obedient to God, but he had a reprobate cousin or nephew. That's what it was. Sorry, it was a nephew. He had a nephew who was a reprobate, and the two of them, they had a disagreement, and they came to an agreement to say, Abraham said to Lot, "Okay, Lot, you choose. You take the low road and I'll take the high road," meaning I'll go into the desert and you follow the river, or you can go into the desert and I'll follow the river, and you take your people and I'll take my people, and we'll solve this problem that way. And so Lot thought, well, that sounds like a good thing, Uncle Abraham. I'll take the river. The river's got water. The river's got plenty. But the cry of Abram's heart was simply, you choose. You choose. Now, people in today's world, there are not many people who are willing to kind of say to people around them when they come to a disagreement or something, they will say to them, let's do it your way. No, let's not fight over this thing. Let's just do it your way. Now, I know in previous devotions, I think it was the ones where we did in Proverbs, where we said we've got to understand the difference between preferences and principles. If we argue over principles, I've got to tell you, I think that could be a good fight. That could be a good argument, because we have a principle. We need to have a Bible verse. We need to have something more than just a personal preference. But I have noticed amongst meek people that their personal preference is not so important. That their personal preference is saying, you choose. Let's do things your way. Can you imagine in marriages today if we were to do this? If we were to have our discussions, and in the end we were to say, you know what, it's no skin of anybody's nose, whichever way we do it, let's go your way. You choose. Maybe you're faced with a situation like that and you're getting hot under the collar over this thing. Maybe you're saying to yourself, I want my way. And you realize that actually, you know what? This is just an issue of personal preference. It's got no big deal happening for it. It's not an issue of principle. If it's an issue of preference, people, let it go. let it go, and let that be the beginning of what meek people choose to do. You choose. Let's do things your way. My way doesn't have to be it. It's not my way or the highway in this particular thing, because it's an issue of preference. You choose. Maybe you need to use that today for something. Let's see. Cheers. Bye.